Welcome back. In this session, we will be discussing about software engineering. Okay, so what we understand by software engineering. Okay, and also we'll go into the definition, IEEE, definition of software engineering and why exactly we are actually talking about software engineering. So by at the end of this particular session, it will be very clear why this particular subject is very essential for you as a software developer, right? Why whenever you are going in order to develop a software, why software engineering practice is essential. Okay, so let us understand some of the realistic part of this is that whenever you are trying to develop something, whenever you're trying to provide a solution to something, because as an engineer we are problem solvers. Okay, so we need to find a solution to the problem. So before we go for a solution to the problems, so we need to have an exhaustive effort that is required in to understand the problem, right? So if you understand the problem only, then we can only find out the solution. So the important concern is understanding of the problem, right? And then when you are trying to go for a solution, we really think about how to design, right? How to design. So it becomes one of the very important activity, right? Apart from that, I have been talking in the previous session about the quality perspective also. So we need to really understand that whenever you are developing something, it should be of high quality, right? So that the client or the user is happy using that particular thing. Apart from that, we need to have the software which is easy to maintain, okay, easy to enhance, and all. So now if you required to understand a problem, right, the effort has to begin to understand a problem. So design aspect is there. We are looking into the quality, we are looking into the maintainability and all these things. So that sounds that there need to be some kind of sound engineering practice or principle, so that we can create a particular software which is economical and that is reliable and will going to work on efficiently in any kind of a real machine. So typically software engineering is, we are talking about the establishment and the use of sound engineering principles in order to obtain a economically software that is reliable and works efficiently on the real machine. So let us we understand some of the realistic and some giving a similarly a definition of it. Let us understand the IEEE definition. The IEEE definition says that it is an application of more systematic, okay, discipline, quantifiable approach, right? So we have a systematic, we have a discipline, okay, we have a quantifiable approach in order to offer a development when you are developing of a particular software, it's a operations, that is the software is running, and maintenance on other software, okay, with nothing but application of engineering to the software, right? So in other words, what we understand is that IEEE definition say that there has to be a systematic and disciplined approach, right? And quantifiable also, right? And when you're talking about this in all terms, when you are developing, okay, the process in which the software has been developed, right? When the software is actually we are utilizing it, so operation, and when the software is maintaining it, right? So and the application of engineering to that software is required, right? That one. Now, when you talk about software engineering, okay, so when you talk a systematic, so past experience plays a vital role, okay, and then we have some kind of theoretical basis, quantitative tactics provided. Many are thumb rules which we need to go, and we need to understand the trade-off, right? We have a lot of alternative ways through which we can come up with a particular solutions, right? We need to understand which we're going to talk, which we don't to talk, we need to take, okay, and then an approach which is pragmatic approach, which is really we are talking about nothing but the cost effectiveness, right? Okay, so we are talking about nothing but the cost effectiveness. Okay, so let us understand only when you talk about profound means deep use of past experience itself, okay, and we are talking about the quantitative and theoretical basis ideas also. So you understand which we need to take, okay, trade-off. When you're on your trade-off, it comes in maybe in the terms of efficiency, memory, some kind of memory utilization, a lot of aspects to be there. You will understand when you move into the downline of this particular courses itself. Okay, and here we are talking about cost effectives and pragmatic options. When you are talking about this, means you are really understanding the practical approach itself. Okay, so having said this, we move. So why exactly, we are talking about software engineering, right? So why do you think that's we are talking about, systematic ways of development, disciplined ways of development? Okay, where focus on the quality aspect, it should be maintainable. Okay, in all aspect of developing the software, the operation of the software, and all these things, right? So now, typically, when you are developing a software, I was telling, right, the software means we are talking about large programs. We are talking about complex programs. Okay, right? So we need to deal with, complex problems, and you have to understand this particular complex problem. In order to understand the particular problem, we require to have a required number of, skill sets, right? We will have the required number of skill sets, and you have to understand different techniques and approaches to which through which we can deal with this particular, complex problems, right? Yes. So when we are talking of this, you can see in the right hand side, I have typically written out, you need to specify that particular, what kind of software, what kind of problem that is, right? Because all in my if you have looked into my problem solving, videos, you can understand different, problem. When we're talking about problem, what is the approach to which we deal with the problem itself, right? Yes. Now that then we are talking about the design, the interface, how it looks into, okay, testing, need to test whether, we are actually able to develop what exactly the requirement of this particular, software itself, management of this. So having said this, if you talk about, software engineering, why? We are talking about complex problem, we are talking about large programs, okay, various skill set is required, various techniques is required, okay, a group of people will be working together. So hence there has to much need of, engineering approach, whether you when in process of developing, you know when the software is in the operation mode, when in the software in a in a maintainable mode. So there has to be systematic, discipline, quantitable, approaches that is required, and that's what we understand by software engineering, and that's and why we are talking about, software engineering. Okay, so more other things will be there. Okay, slowly we will understand, right? You will understand the software development life cycle, also different models. Okay, right? And also software engineering also, we in the next video I will be talking about why software engineering are, we call it as, the layered technology also, right? So I hope you have understood the aspects, or why exactly we are talking about software engineering. Okay, thank you so much.